Yeah, we're on.
We're on. Okay, why don't you take it away? Cheers. Good to see you, man.
I don't have a glass with me, but cheers, man. So good that you
Cheers, buddy.
have fine taste in whiskey. I don't have a whiskey in hand because it's 11:15 in the morning, and uh,
Yeah.
so
There's a little
yeah,
bit of a
so
lag. We have to do like over after everything we say.
so anyway, it's good to connect with you, man. I think while we talked a couple of times on the phone, this is good because I get to see you as well, and then we have this time set up an hour or so to just talk about the good old times, right?
Mm.
Possibly the 4 years that made us into who we are today. So, so I'm really looking forward to this.
Me too. I'm super happy to talk to you. It's always awesome. I appreciate all the effort. Maybe you should start out with some admin stuff. I mean, in case people watch this and they prefer listening to instructions than reading WhatsApp with an announcements nested like some kind of inception. So what's out there? What have you guys done? There's a website I know, and then I know there's a digital REM, and what else you guys got? I saw the hotel reservations.
Yeah, I mean, so I think we have all the basic stuff covered, right? So, if you have any questions on the event itself or figure out who's doing all this stuff, you could go to REConnect99.com and you would have a whole bunch of things there, including information on hotel accommodation, the high level plan of what we plan to do on the 19th and 20th, some FAQ stuff. You could go through all that. So that was the first thing we did, and then we wanted to recreate this whole REM thing, right? So we've actually digitized the whole REM book that we had. So you get to see your old profile as to whatever your address was when you were at 99, and all
Well said.
the comments that people had written on you at that time, and then you could also add in your new comments or write your REM now 25 years later, right?
Hmm.
So you could search for people in different departments, go and uh, maybe establish that connection that we probably would have lost over all these 25 years. Uh, the first thing actually we did was to, you know, track down people as much as we could. And I think we managed to, our batch strength was around 420, and then we managed to trace at least 375 of them. So we're still not stopped at that. I mean, we're still trying to figure out who else is missing and doing our uh, thing to track them. But most of them are were traced, and we're trying to convince them to join the event. And then the event itself has been planned well. So we figured out the hotels in which we are going to do this. Uh, on the whole event starts at 19th, uh, maybe late evening. We're trying to recreate the whole Sam Fox experience, right? We're trying to uh, also try and see. I'm doing my best to actually get the Sam Fox guy to come in and do the tea
Yeah.
and mutta paratha for us, but
Right on, my
I
man.
can't promise you that. But at least a similar setup will be there.
That's
Uh,
cool.
and then that goes on, right? So you would have drinks and dinner, and there's nothing really planned on the first day. It's a poolside party, and it's
Hmm.
all about you know meeting people, uh, reconnecting again, and all of that. Uh, and then the next day is when we head to the campus. Um, there's an hours program that is a little official in nature. You'd have the school dean and principal, addressing us and all of it. And right after, we would have hop on, hop off tours arranged or buses that will be that will be running around. So you could get into a bus, go to your hostel department. You will also have professional photographers with you who would accompany you, and you could take pictures by
Styling and all.
department and stuff like that. Uh, so yeah, so after that is done, then we head back to the city again in the evening, and then uh, you know we haven't really. scheduled it to the T so far, but we would do that. A lot of, hopefully, we'll have some cultural programs, or people can sing, dance. We obviously have a DJ who will come and play music and all of that, and that is it. But I would encourage, people to form their own groups, come in early or leave late, and you could do your own thing. One thing I really want to do is to actually block the whole of Wild West for us. By the way, Wild West is still functioning, right? Wild West is
Really?
still
Oh,
happening. They have the amazing setup. I mean, you still have that cowboy mannequin sitting outside the
yeah.
entrance, and those wine glasses hanging from the bar counter and all of that, right? So,
Yeah,
and
I remember, I mean, I'm surprised the branding still survived, but you
yeah,
remember we'd have drinks and they'd show fashion TV on the in the background in an endless loop of all the things. We're
yeah,
like, yeah, not really sure it all meshes, but okay, what else we got going?
yeah, yeah, it's still there, and we could probably do that. I mean, I would love
Yeah.
to do something like that.
Masala peanuts with a Hayward 5000.
Dude, they serve podi idli with beer, man, and believe it or not, it's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, like India kicks butt in food, right?
Right.
So not surprised. Well, that's cool. I mean, folks, is this going to be on YouTube? If it
It
is,
is.
they can
It's going to be on YouTube.
yeah, more questions in the comments. You can ask Vicky about the setup for the reunion. Cool. So let's get going. Now that we got that out of the way.
All right. So let's go back, right? Let's rewind. Was that 29 years ago? So what's your first memory
Of what? REC?
of REC, or getting in the campus, meeting people? Or let me ask you a very pointed question, right? Uh, do you remember the first time you met me?
The yeah. Now I'm gonna feel like an ass because I don't. But I'll do you one solid. Okay. Because it's all about experiences that we share, right? That's how you
Right.
remember each other. So I'll do something. Let's see
Hmm.
if you can play along. Tum kum kum kum. Da-dum. Kum kum
Sing
kum kum.
reflections on the water, moving
So
darkness in
I
the
remember that about
day.
other girls. They gather around him. If I had him. I don't know the lyrics after that, but see, we remember
Yeah,
that about each other. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think
I
that
I think
I think
I think that would have been when I was like, yeah, I want to hang out with Viggy. I mean,
mm,
not that there's a filter. I think it was good to meet everyone. One of the things about REC, I mean, maybe there's a lot of that going on nowadays, like in cities like Bangalore and all. But for me, I think it's like wonderful that we get to meet people from every state. I mean, that's rare. You may won't get that in bits. You may get that in IIT, but I think that's really, really rare that you see the beauty of India in a cocktail, mini cocktail. Uh, except Wilson Sam is from Manipur for some reason. But other than that, sorry, Wilson. But you know what I'm talking about. Like, I mean, wherever I grew up, I never met a person from Orissa, and then Padi and like so many other people, Sahu. It's okay to give shout outs to people, right, on this.
yeah, of
But
course, of
that,
course.
for me, that was one of my first experiences. I was like, wow, I don't know if I'll ever get to experience this again. I'm sure if you live in Bangalore, you're going to meet people from all over, but I don't know if you live in any other city, you'll get that. But we got that in REC. That was my first experience about feeling, this is pretty cool that you get to do that. And then people like you for the ride as well.
Yeah. So I actually remember meeting you very briefly during the whole counseling thing that we had, right?
Hmm.
Uh, so that was the first time I saw you along with um, Somaraju, Ramaswamy, and all these guys, right? So it's good fun, and I think um,
I don't want to get down at Dindigal. Do you remember that?
how do you what?
I don't want to get down at Dindigal. Do you remember this?
This was the oh yeah, we were coming back from Kodai, right?
Exactly. See, it's all about experience. Now you know what I'm talking about?
Oh
That's
God,
what I.
that was a hilarious trip, dude. I don't know if we could talk all about this in this podcast. That is.
But let's keep it
eventually
moving.
getting
See,
on.
but that's what you said. First memory of you. These are my memories of you. It's like, and I don't want to get out of Dinnikal.
Uh, by the way, I
Yeah,
mean, there was this, yeah, I mean, I remember watching GoldenEye along. Was that Jimmy along with us? I think Jimmy was with us too.
I think uh,
And
Keto Ram.
interestingly, you know what? So that was GoldenEye. And then there was this, I think when we got on to the third semester, I think you were also with me when we watched DDLJ, right? I think,
DDLJ was way before that. DDLJ was in like first year or something like that.
no man.
I remember watching it in Chennai with Hyper or something like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay. It may
yeah,
not be you then.
yeah.
Yeah, but it was really funny because
I
towards
able
the end
to
of
get.
the movie, you know Ramki, right? Uh, Ramki from
Mhm.
computer science. He was,
Yeah, he's here.
yeah, he's here.
We
He's,
should set that up, right? Like you're in Hyderabad, I'm in
yeah,
California. Yeah,
yeah,
so
yeah.
if that's I haven't
So,
caught up. I have an interesting. Let me know when you want to switch lanes. Yeah, go ahead, finish your thought.
yeah, so, you know, he saw the movie and towards the end, he got up and he's like, typical Ramakrishna. Like, dude, what's gotten into you? I guess he really wanted to, live that life of Shah Rukh Khan or whatever, but it was really funny.
Yeah,
Uh,
we don't know people's levers. This was apparently his. Okay. And if he's listening, hi Ramki, come over sometime, have a whiskey with me.
okay, so, can you tell me some real funny story that happened with you during the hostel times or any time when you were there in the 4 years in college?
Mm, I don't know. Funny to me may not be funny to other people. So I'll give it up for the whole organization committee. You guys put me in touch. I mean, I got Jimmy's number. I haven't spoken to Jimmy in 25 years. I think we're both lazy enough that way that we don't try to keep in touch. But those memorable years. Speaking of funny, like Jimmy and me had tons of like crazy inside jokes. But to keep it, broadish, I think the craziest thing was for me, funny wise, it gives me a chuckle even to this day. I know I'm gonna shit on a few people as I get through this story, but there was this time when, so in third year, or was it, yeah, third year, I had, can I say Hodo? I've said it. So Arjun and T2 next door, and then I was coming out of the bathroom, and I think Arjun was like walking in, and then I just went by his room, and then I was right next door. I went to bed, and then somebody's like banging on my door. I don't know why. I think maybe just really hot. I took and started dozing off. Somebody starts banging. I think it was AK banging on my door, and like next door, oh Balaji, dude, is your is your room on fire? What the, this is so bizarre. What do you mean by my room's on fire? Nothing happens here. We're in the middle of nowhere with nothing to set anything on fire. But then he's, and I was just like, and my foot had fallen asleep. And the banging really stressed me out. Like, what? And I stepped up and I stumbled because one foot was asleep. And I'm crawling like a zombie to that grill. You know, the third year hostel had the grill like up there.
Hmm.
And like, I was saying, no, my room's not on fire. Get lost. Like, I want to sleep. But they're like, dude, and I was like, while I'm saying that, I could smell it. Speaking of fire, I got you beautiful date night, you and me, Viggy. I got a fireplace on it. So we opened the door and we're smelling room by room, and of course it's Arjun's room, and and then it's locked. We try to bang it, and then he comes by, and then the whole wing's out there, like Barry and Bala, even CJM, Chirag Mehta, everybody like come out, like, and we'd like kick the door in, and we'd like douse the fire, and we're walking, and then Arjun's walking back, like it's a cool breeze on a summer day. He's really like doesn't know what's going on. I'm like, your room's on fire, man. Like that was funny. I mean, this is for the folks in that wing that remember this incident. But yeah, you go. How about that?
Hmm. So this was, I think this happened in the third year or so, right? So this was, um,
You're in Pearl, right? Or
yeah, I was in
Pearl
Pearl 38. Uh,
campus.
so
Very
I
good.
had this very close friend. I mean, he was an EC. His name is Arun Rangarajan, right? So
Yeah,
we used to
I don't.
call him Mama, right?
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
He wears
So
a
anyway,
beret.
so
His profile is a beret. That guy, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. So he comes in late in the night to my room, about maybe one-ish around that time, and then he says there was a time when this whole Arun Shankar Raman issue happened, and then there was this another thing that happened was one of our seniors. I think he was from J&K. So those guys before graduating, they went to some Kallanai or somewhere, a dam, and then I think he lost his life. He got swept away or something
Big
like that.
flash, right?
And I think the whole hostel was kind of troubled, right? So Mama was kind of disturbed by it, and he said, "Hey, you know what? I want to go have some tea. So do you want to come along?" And when somebody calls you for tea, you don't refuse, right? So you don't ask any questions. You're like, "Okay, fine, I'll come with you." And then we walking, and we were the road, right? So we were walking. We walk from Pearl, we cross Octa, walk all the way across admin block, and not a soul, right? Just two of us. And then we crossed the gate, and you remember Nagu, right? Nagu's shop was the only shop that was
This side,
open
yeah.
that time, and that is towards when you come outside the gate, it's on the left hand side,
Yeah, it's
right?
like
And then
Lingam's dad, right?
yeah, he's Lingam's dad, by the way. And then the road is kind of on an elevated level, right? So you need to kind of walk down a little bit or come down a slope to get to his shop, right? And sitting, right? He's got a thatched place, and then he's got
Mm.
this Petromax light, and the only light on the whole setting is this Petromax light, and the light is bumping off the tar road, and that's all the light we could see, right? And we were talking about this guy that died, and we were like, oh, and then in our mind we kind of think that, I mean, we don't know this guy, right? I don't think I've even seen this guy, but in our minds we were like, oh, maybe it's that guy, he roams around with a shot or whatever, and we make a mental picture of him. And then for whatever reason, we decide, oh, that must be the guy, right?
That's beautiful.
He's the guy,
I
and
This is a funny story, right? At some point,
yeah, it is.
very
Just bear
macabre
with me,
so far.
right? So, and then when we were having tea, we noticed one guy walking towards, and he was all alone, by the way. He's walking towards now, and then Mama looks at him and like, dude, he is that guy. Then I'm like, what do you mean he's that guy?
Adalia.
And then Mama's like, Machi, big long call record. Check if he's got legs. Check if he's got legs. Like,
Backwards car.
you ghosts don't have legs. And then we're seeing him, I don't know what, my hands were like literally shivering, right? And then this guy comes, and then we are not speaking at all. We're looking at him as if, we've just seen a ghost. This guy goes and asks for an hour tea, one sutta, and then he takes a cigarette and starts smoking. And then this guy taps me, like, Machi, do ghosts smoke? Pay cigarette pudikuma. So yeah, it was really funny to see through that, and you're like shit scared, dude. But it's one funny story, and I every time I tell the story to my kids, they just crack up. They just love me, recounting the story to them.
You're two girls, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Two man,
14 and 11.
three girls technically, but
Yeah, so that was my
nine. One
all-time
is
funny story. So why don't I? Okay, let me ask you a kind of serious question, right?
Hmm.
So why do you think guys from our college connect so well? I mean, whenever we talk, it doesn't seem like uh, we are connecting after so many years, right? It's just like picking up from wherever we left. So why do you think that's happening?
Alright. Difficult one, but I don't know. Do you feel old? I feel at some level we're still a child inside.
Yeah,
Um, you know what? I think I mean, it's multiple levers. Yeah, it's that. I think nostalgia is a very powerful emotion when you meet somebody, that among many emotions like fear and love and all powerful, but one where nostalgia is underrated as an emotion. And so that's when you actually connect with someone, like it's I don't know, for me it's like a windfall of like memories. And then it's like, oh, we've got like these seven, eight, like I don't want to get down a Dindigul, and then you just want to take it like one step. I mean, what else is life, right? Life is just, sharing memories, having fun. So I think that's what that's one piece of it about it. And I think people who like just generally connect, maybe they don't take themselves too seriously, you know.
Mm.
Because okay, even if they did take themselves seriously, in that moment with you, they're not going to be taking. And people, everybody deserves that. Everybody wants that. And I think that's somewhere in there is the reason. I mean, you're asking me a very philosophical question. It's got nothing
Mm.
about you and me. There are billions of people who experience that,
Right.
and some a bunch of research is just my take on it. Yeah, I think the good part though is that there is no feeling like, hey, you didn't bother keeping in touch with me. You know, there's that the drama completely unnecessary. Neither you nor me not said a word years together. I think that video, man, it touched me. The one you sent with like, you
Mhm.
know, sent and Raji K. And then it's not like you, why don't you keep in touch, BC? Why don't you keep in touch, MC? And it's not that. Nobody's focusing on the negatives. Everybody's like
Right.
looking, you know, what we had, let's just plus one on that, you know.
Mhm.
Um, that's it. So what do you think? What are your thoughts about why we connect?
Um, well, I think we all met at a time when we were really raw, right? I mean, I don't think we had any expectations from those relationships, right? It was just we were raw. We were probably coming out of the home for the first time, uh, and I think the emotions that we felt at that time um, were probably something that we experienced for the first time, right? Staying away from home, and
Mm,
at the same time having the responsibility of attending the classes and trying to accomplish certain things and all that. So and then we obviously needed that support system, right? And at that time the support system uh, was all the people that were around us, right? So I think that kind of explains that. And also I don't know if you would agree with me, right? So as a batch, I think we had a tough time those 4 years. It was not easy for us, right? And uh, I mean, if you really want to recollect all those things that happened, I mean, the second year, this whole Vagela episode happened, and then the third year, this Chatu stuff, and a lot of guys went through some, serious issues and troubles from various quarters, right? And we went through all of that together, and I think in some ways that made us, uh, somewhat close, and we probably connected really well. That's my thought.
yeah, no doubt. Like being away from home is a big one. Like because it's 1 day rules and 1 day no rules, and there's nothing like no
Yeah.
rules. I mean, since then it's been no rules, right? If you think about it, this is the first time with no rules. And then the question is, what did you make of a situation with no rules? I think going back to what you were saying about like, yeah, we were support for each other. At the end of the day, there's like, what was our batch strength? 300, 350, give or take.
420.
Oh man, I've forgotten more people, a lot of more people than I remember, obviously. So, but the thing is, as you cycle through people, right? Like in the first year, you'll go around, you'll meet people, and then you'll actually find a group of people. And usually, the group of people you'll find is the people that you can be yourself. You know,
Right.
you no, I mean, nobody enjoys spending 4 years where they have to fake being a certain way, whether it's, you know, too much into cricket or too much into politics or too much into whatever shit we are all into. But that's, you know, that's what happens. You cycle through 400 people, you filter, fortunately or unfortunately, however you look at it. At the end of the day, you filter as fast as you can. And then
Mhm.
somewhere in second year, third year, people do reassessment, but you know, these are things that you probably, I mean, maybe you could have been through that, but going through that with no rules, like I said, you know, that's something. And then you get to a group of people who are like, hey man, around these guys, I can literally be myself. I can express myself. I don't know, have to hold back or I don't have to be somebody else. So those things, as far as formative emotions, yeah, I would say that's something because you do that once and then you get the hang of it because you'll do it again and again because you'll go do it in your first job, you'll do it when you come to a new country, you'll do it again and again, but then at that point you're honing it. This first time you're doing it raw.
So I'm going to ask you a question this time. right? So what was your typical routine like, right? Let's, the first and second year was a little messy, but let's talk about third and final year, right? Your life at, were you at Pearl or were you at Lapis?
Lapis.
Okay. So let's talk about your typical routine at Lapis.
Hmm. Well, I don't think my routine changed through. I mean, I think a few months in past the ragging period and after. But routine was wake up, get to class. And
Mhm.
usually in class, I would give a guy a ride. And this is, I'm gonna sprinkle some stories, anecdotes in the middle. I remember, so I had this bicycle, and I'm just used to cycling by myself. And then we had to get to class. I think it was like 5 minutes to cut it. And then Kiledar says, "Dude, give me a ride." And I've never given anybody a doubles ride. And Kile is, generous proportion wise. When so he comes and like, I don't know, yeah, मुझे नहीं आता है ये सब करना है, अभी पहली बार कर रहा हूँ. It's like he literally just said, eh, कुछ नहीं होगा, चलो. And I was like, wow, here's a man willing to take the risk to fall like right before class, and he has that much confidence in me. And I was like, all right, here we go. But I mean, that's what I was thinking. He was thinking. What I was thinking about myself, like, yeah, we're gonna fall for sure. This is gonna be fun. I just have got to figure out how I don't get hurt. Like, screw Killy, let him get hurt. I don't care. So I was like, it's like, he asked for it. So I go first, and like it just started working out, and I mean, anyways, that's the anecdote. So back to the routine. So yeah, get to class. I mean, make sure, like, I mean, I think by that time, like, we knew where we were sitting, right? Like, it was the second last bench where you don't want to look like enough of a nerd, but you don't want to look like a loser at the same time. But we're fooling no one except ourselves. So the people in my row, we just find our seat, and it was just like, how do you get through the day? Because I don't know about you, but for me, I don't think learning is my my stick, man. It was rough to get through class, and then through the days, it would be dreaming about only one thing, because at 4 o'clock, I would be Jimmy and me would be at the basketball court, and we'd be like thinking, just dreaming, like, oh, I'll lay up this way, I'll make a three-pointer that way, and then I'll defend, and this is all I'd be dreaming about, just waiting for like 4 o'clock, and then you'd get back, and then we'd go head out, play hoops, come back, shower, cold shower. And the only way I used to get through the cold shower was that, like, I had to scream some very like Led Zeppelin, like a Robert Plant, like, just I'll start singing loudly, just so that when the first splash of cold water hits me, I'm already screaming. So I just go with the flow, and then get through the mess. Yeah, the egg paratha or whatever, all that food. And yeah, there was one time when it was so late, we were coming back from basketball, that it was the last batch of idli, and I was walking, and the lizard just jumped on my shoulder, freaked the heck out of me onto my plate of idlis, and then jumped off. But I was so gassed out, I was like, yeah, man, I've probably everything I've eaten and touched is like, and this lizard jumping on my idli is not gonna change anything. And I was just like, I ate it. I do not have the energy. And then I went back. But that was the day. That was the day. Like, get up, look forward to basketball, do basketball, shower, feel good about like having a good day. Because every day it felt, just because of basketball, every day felt like a vacation or a picnic for me. I felt like I didn't need anything else. Yeah.
So my room was, as I was saying, towards the restrooms, and I was the only guy that used to buy the Sindhu newspaper every morning, right? And
Very
then I used to
Madrasa.
get up pretty late. Every
Mm,
guy, every guy that got up in the morning would
mm.
would come in. They will stop at my room because the paper was there. They will open up. They will read the paper and put it all crumpled, and I'll walk off. Then finally, this guy Neelu would come. Neelu's in my department, right around 8:15 or something. So he would take the paper, read it again, and then he
Mm.
would say, "Hey, Vicky, it's getting late." And then he will throw the paper at me, and that's
To
when I'll
wake
wake up. And that's my wake up call. He was my alarm clock, right? So I would, get dressed, freshen up, and then we will walk towards the to the mess, right, or the main entrance, and right behind you have the mess. And then Neelu will be ready with about two or three slices of bread, right? He'll be holding
Oh,
out for us. I mean, like he'll every day morning would complain, saying, "Hey, you know what? I can't do this for you every day." And then
so why was he
he
doing
would
it in
be,
the first place? Why
I
why do you
don't
have a
know.
spotter for bread? Nobody deserves a
So
bread spotter. I can have
he'll be
a
like, okay, you can't go to class hungry or whatever. He will give it to us, and then we will start eating it, and then he'll walk towards the department from 8 to 12. You're there, and then
mm,
because we were at Silver Jubilee building, we used to during there was a break after first 2 hours or something, right? After the first two
mm.
classes, so you walk to the to either Juicy or the canteen, get yourself some
Yeah,
chai,
yeah,
come back,
yeah.
and then finish the next two classes. Walk back to the mess for lunch. Uh, then in the afternoons, I think 2 days in a week, we would have this practicals, right? So we used to head to the Octa,
Oh,
do stuff. And then we were there till 4. And then after 4, you start this whole thing of going to the gate. I think I
yeah,
would have walked to the gate some 3, 4 times every day, man.
yeah. That
You
was
go
never
walk
my
and
thing. I
then you
couldn't
come
do
back, and by the time somebody else will be going to the gate. I'm like, क्या कर रहा है बे? तो आजा आजा आजा. You walk
that.
again.
For me, my gate was at night. After dinner, then head to the gate for
Yeah,
what, and then
yeah,
so it was only at night, and so I'd stock up and then bring. I never do the multi because I was busy with basketball during that time.
yeah. So
But
I didn't play any games. I
so
mean,
then
I
you'd
used to
find
play.
time to study and shit.
I never studied, dude. I
How
pretty much
good
had
were you?
a
I have no idea. Like I don't know if you're a boss.
no,
I'm
no,
sure
no.
you are.
I really don't know. All I did was to hang out with people here and there, and just gappe marofying. That's all I did. So yeah, um, that was my routine, really.
Dude, I got one for you. Tell me how you think you have changed after REC. I'm not talking about like what in REC made you change and none of that jazz, but in the spirit of or in the lane of getting to know you,
Mm.
like what do you think has happened afterward that and made you different? And don't say stuff like becoming a father and all that. I mean, we're all becoming and we're all changing
Oh,
because of
so
that. No doubt. But tell me something.
um, well, I think I had to reset myself and start from scratch at some point, right?
What,
So
20s,
in a
30s,
sense,
40s?
uh, I'm sorry, say that again.
But which when like specifics, little specifics, 20s,
Yeah.
30s,
So
40s, right after
uh,
college.
well, yeah. So after college, I had this job, and then right, parents they want me to do your masters and all that. So and then my best friends were already in the US. All you guys were already in the US by then. So I had to do
Thunderbird,
that. Yeah,
I
Thunderbird,
remember.
right? So
Mm.
I did all this GRE, GMAT stuff. I did that, and then got myself a job in the US as well. But then this whole dot-com bubble nonsense happened, and I had
Mm.
to get back to India. And then things were okay. I mean, I still came back. I got a job. I had an amazing job. I was doing all that.
ఇంకా
But then,
హైదరాబాద్ లోనా?
I made this shitty career move, right? And this IT stuff that I talked to you about earlier happened, and then I once again made another bad career move, and I got laid off from work, right? And getting a job again at that time was a hassle, and I had to really start from scratch, right? Go up, upgrade my skills, uh, and all that, right? So I had to really dig deep, right? So I took a pay cut I was drawing the same amount of money I had in my
I'm
first
asking
job.
about your stuff that happened to you. I'm talking about how you changed, how you different. What did that thing do to you is what I'm
Yeah, so
asking.
I think, you know, in some ways my confidence took a big hit,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
And then something in me ticked, and one fine day I kind of said this to myself that I'm not going to let the same thing happen to me again, right? You know, I don't want to see my family like this. I mean, my family was great. I mean, they was supporting me all the time, and they didn't make me feel that, oh, this guy is just sitting around and not having a job and all that. They didn't make me feel all that. But about 6 months of being jobless, something hit me that, hey, you know what? You're just not doing the right thing. I mean, things are not just going to come fall in your lap, right? So you have to do the right thing for it. And I don't know, something clicked in that 1 minute, and I decided, okay, I'm not going to be idle. I'll do whatever comes my way. And then um I started working really hard. I mean, I really didn't want to be in that position again, right? So
This is
I
when you
became,
should call people like me, man. Like you, I'd talk you out of your funk. I mean,
I know. So in
now
some
looking
ways,
back, does this seem like something worth getting stressed about?
in, in some ways, people from the college helped me. I mean,
There you
Ramki for
go.
that
Good,
matter,
good,
right?
good, good, good.
Ramki for that matter. I mean,
Ramki,
I was not in the mood to talk
come
to
over for
anyone, right?
whiskey, Ramki.
Yeah.
It's I
So
should get in touch with him.
him,
Go on.
him and Rajiv would call me every week. And
Ajit,
Ramki, sometimes he would sense that, okay, I'm not doing well or I'm not doing great. He would call me every other day, right? So
dude,
those two
that's
guys,
amazing. Like that is awesome. Like, what do we?
I
This
know.
is awesome.
So,
Like, this is the stuff I want to talk about.
right.
Lovely.
So, I'm ever thankful for those two guys for doing that. I don't think I would have bounced back really if those two guys weren't around. I mean, they were not near. I mean, both those guys were in the US,
Oh,
right?
I
And you
know,
know how it
yeah.
is.
But Rajiv is when you say Rajiv, you mean like RGK, Raju Gopal Krishna?
Yeah, he came. He's right now in Bangalore, but when all this
But is
happened,
that who you're talking about?
yeah. So we talk. I'm talking about
Right.
Rajiv and Ranki. So both these
Hmm.
guys were in the US that time. So this was when? This was 2009.
Hey, right. Okay. Hey,
Yeah.
cheers to Ramki and Rajiv. Make them fucking listen to this.
Yeah, yeah. So that
Well,
happened, and it's been an amazing ride since then. I've never looked back since that day, and
that's
people have various measures of uh, being successful and all that, right? My measure is a little different. I'm really happy to be wherever I am today, and really grateful for that.
right on, man. That was a great story. I'm glad I interrupted your ass talking about what actually happened as opposed to how what I- what it did to you. Okay,
Yeah,
sweet. Yeah,
that is.
yeah, how have I changed? Now I remember. Yeah, it's my question. Yeah. How have I changed since? Uh, whoa, I don't know. I don't think I've changed that much, to be honest.
Good,
Uh,
man. That's good. That's good.
yeah, no, I don't know. Um, yeah, I don't know what's actually changed. Maybe if I try to see what's similar from before, it might help. Like, I don't know, the kind of person I was, for me, I'm a goof. I think, world's too damn serious. This fun. Unfortunately, humor doesn't occur naturally in life. It's one of the few things that you have to create, right? And so, for example, you'd see a movie that was a tragedy, but there's enough tragedy in the world. There's love in the world, not enough, but there is. And then there's, every other situation, patriotism, you name the list of stuff that you can actually be inspired by. It happens in the real world. But humor and music, the other thing, it doesn't naturally happen. Not complicated music, at least. But so humor is always something I used to like chase. I always found it like it's like having a laugh is great. And I've enjoyed that before. I enjoy it now. I will say this that this is the first phase of my life where I don't have a person to bounce the laughter off of. But no, but we do have our own thing, and that's what I have my friends for. But I'm saying all through my life, so school I had a guy, and we used to like just shits and giggles. Like I'm talking about, we laugh till we get stomach cramps, and that's how we laughed. And then in college there was Jimmy and Chings and Shrikant, there's Kantu and Beeb and Waba, and we'd have the shits and giggles. And then after that, I had a guy, and then I moved to California because my wife and we moved here. And then out here, I'm sorry for the Bay Area, for Bay Area sucks. It's just people wise, it's just a bunch of people who want to wear like sweater vests, without sleeves for some reason. So the body is cold, but the hands are not cold. And then there'll be tech bros and also. But the point is that I haven't found, man, I'm shitting on a lot of people in this. what is this, a podcast? I'm gonna get in trouble. But the thing is that like that, I don't have a friend, but that's
No,
something. But
I see what you're saying.
yeah,
in the sense that
a
you kind of
soulmate
miss the same camaraderie with
outside of my
the
wife.
people
I'm gonna
that
get in
were,
trouble. Sorry.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm,
Whoever you feel like, man, we'll both will look at the same thing and feel the same way, right?
mm.
And I am with many ways with that with my wife, but on the goofy part of the world, and so that's one thing that stayed constant with me. But with respect to change, um, I don't know. I I haven't changed my.
That's okay,
I
dude. I
still
mean,
drink.
I
I
think
guess I drink
you're
less. Yeah,
good for you that you
mostly.
haven't changed. That's fine.
I'm mostly the same. Yeah, I've grown older. And that yeah, I don't play basketball. How about that? I don't. I play. I mean, I just do my own thing. I work out and whatever. Yeah, I've kept that habit. Is what I'm saying.
Hmm. So do you remember the time we were on the stage together?
I was gonna talk, dude. One of the questions, man. I will show you. I will show you. One of the. Let's go. Let's go. Sorry, I gotta get something, but I'm listening. Ask your question.
That's the question, dude. Do you remember the time and can you tell me something about that? What did we dance to?
So I had this as a fleeting thought that Viggy and me were wearing a black t-shirt and like jeans, and then we were dancing, and then it just strayed. Could there have been two times we were on stage together? Because okay, I'm just gonna go through some ramblings of my thoughts. So I'll spitball here. Is this something like this Taba Taba, you and me, and then Soundy wanted to do this song that was like a very, very
You wanted to
like
stand upside down.
oh yeah, because he won, dude. Thanks. This is what this conversation was. You fill in the blanks on my memories, man. That's it. That's it. It's for that. But what? But that we were together for that.
Um,
I think
I,
we were. I think it
no,
was
so
first year.
I remember we were doing this for the hostel thing. I think we were representing Pearl or something. And I
No,
think
no.
Toba Toba was something
No,
that you
no,
did with the mech thing. I think it was a Wreckfest thing.
no, no, no. See, the mech thing I did was I think it was Bombay Boys or something like that. But that you and I
Hmm.
couldn't have been. So, but we went
Yeah.
together for this Tauba
So
Tauba
I
stuff.
remember we danced together for that Minsara Kanavu dance. You know that.
Vinsara yes, which year? That would have been first year, right?
No, second year. I don't know. Maybe it was second year.
How could
I
it
don't
be
remember.
second year?
I mean, that
Huh.
was when we were in the same hostel, right? Diamond. I
In the
don't think
same
it could have
hall,
been
exactly.
Pearl
I think it's
because
all.
then,
Yeah.
yeah, it must have been a second year thing. It must have been Culfest.
What was
Mm.
Culfest?
Culfest was
Inter-hostel.
an inter-hostel thing.
That's what it was. No, that's what it
Yeah.
was. There was another one that was inter-department. That was
That was
September.
Wreckfest.
That was Recfest, yes.
Uh,
And Festember was the inter college. Yeah, yeah. Okay. But yes, we did the Minsara the
yeah.
Ooh La La La, the drop in Ooh La La La,
Correct.
the best part, basically.
Yeah.
I still listen to my kids, you know. I think we should do this again. And I think this is a format of
Hmm.
like this is people may like to listen to stuff. If this is going on YouTube, you should like folks, what do you think in the comments? And maybe you
Yeah. Yeah.
might hear some. This was great. I enjoyed it. You should get another person, or I'll talk to another person. I don't know. However,
Yeah, we should do that. We could co-host or something, and maybe we could host
that
it together.
that's a great idea. That's a great idea. I'm just saying, and like not to make it a popularity contest. If this part is being in the clip, then like put in the comments who you would like to see next. You know, and do your part to get them to be on it because it's not just up to Vicky and the guys to do it. So don't suggest and leave it out there. Just
Yeah.
do your yeah. I don't know. I don't have anything else to say, but I just wanted to wrap up saying that this was fun, man.
Good stuff. All right, dude. So
I hope you had fun, man. I
good.
had a fucking amazing time.
Glad you could make the time and we could record this. And I hope it shouldn't be just with us, right? So whoever feels like it, they should just
Yeah,
uh, get together
So,
with a band of
yeah,
friends.
so I'm gonna talk
That's
to
what.
Chinks. I'm gonna tell him get the fuck on. You, me, and Viggy are gonna talk. Whether he shows up or not doesn't matter. The question is, let's elicit
Yeah.
conversations from people of our batch. You know, I'm gonna encourage Jimmy, but Jimmy and me, Chinks and I talk often. We just like message each other about music. We message each other about our kids. We just like family life. We're constantly in touch. But other people, like I'm gonna be like, get the fuck on the show. And people like Deepankar Sahu will get in. I'll fucking make him like open up, sometime.
No, no, no. I had so much fun. Good stuff, man. So
Yeah,
do
man.
this again and
Yeah.
see you at the reunion.